Hey guys, hey, welcome to Teaching Tuesday. So, today is Teaching Tuesday, and I am out here on my porch with the dog. So, hopefully, you guys don't hear him bark, but if you do, such is life. If I have not gotten to meet you yet, hi, my name is Whitney Waller, and I am one of the admins of this group. And today is Teaching Tuesdays, and as admins, we kind of divide up the group and how we share. And this week, I am so thankful to Nikki that she let me hop in and share with you guys today, because you guys have the incredible privilege to hear from her this week and all her wisdom. You guys, she knows all the oily goodness, and we are just so blessed to have her. But today, she let me hop in and share with you guys. And I'm really thankful because today is National Autism Awareness Day. And I wanted to have the opportunity to hop on here and share with you guys just a little bit about our story and how Young Living has played a part of that. So if I have not met you yet, I am a homeschooling mama to 4 little ones. I have twins who are 7. My youngest son is 6, and my daughter is 2. And so there's a bug. My youngest son, Eli, my 6-year-old, he was diagnosed with autism. It'll be 4 years ago in October. And so we have been on this journey for 4 years now with him. And I just wanted to take some time tonight to share with you a little bit about our story and to really share how Young Living has played a part in that. Because Young Living has played a part in his story in so many different ways. So when we first started on this journey, my background is as an RN. So I know medicine. I was trained in medicine, and when I came to essential oils and my good friend Heather started sharing oils with me, I was super skeptical. Not gonna lie. So if that is you, if you guys are new to our group and you got these oils because you trusted a friend and you're not real sure what to do with them, I was there too. I was the person who was like, I don't really know if this is going to work or not. I don't understand how these bottles of plant juice really help your family. But we had an experience with them that made me curious to learn a little bit more. So I got my kit and jumped in. And it radically changed our life in so many ways that it's so hard to even explain how it impacted our life. One of those was that it made me really aware of all natural alternatives. It let me see that there were other ways of doing things outside of what I was trained in nursing school. And so it really helped me be able to get an understanding. I started learning about how the products we use in our home impact our health. I started learning about ditching and switching things. And it kind of started this journey where we started taking baby steps towards changing our home. And this happened 2 years before we even found out that my youngest son had autism. We had started learning a little bit more. So because of Young Living, by the time we hit the point that we were looking into this diagnosis for my son, I had already started using a lot of all-natural things, and I knew that there was a lot of options out there. I think that is one thing that Young Living did for our family, is it really opened our eyes so that we could see that, sometimes I 100% believe there is a place and time for Western medicine. I worked in it for years. I will always have a special place in my heart. And I am not an either-or kind of girl. I am a both. And so part of our Young Living journey really helped me understand that this is truly a both, and that there are other options out there to just keep asking questions and keep researching and to keep digging a little bit deeper. I also got to learn more about the human body in a different way than what I learned in nursing school. I got to learn more about the gut and the lymphatic system than I ever had before. So let me backtrack just a little bit. When we hit the time for Eli's diagnosis, it was actually in April, 4 years ago. One of our speech therapists had been working with Eli for probably 6 months at this point. And what I didn't know was that when Eli started, we did all the evaluations and everything for speech therapy. I didn't know that they had made a note in his chart that said, "This kiddo likely has autism, don't tell his mom." They didn't think I was ready to hear that. And to be real honest, it was not on my radar. It was not something I was looking into. I thought Eli was a little bit quirky. I thought we were dealing with some hearing loss because he had had really, really bad double ear infections right before this that ruptured both of his eardrums. I knew we were dealing with a significant speech delay because he was completely nonverbal, and he was about 2.5 at the time. But autism was not something that was on my radar at all. So they had asked me in some interviews, have you looked into autism? And I'm like, no, but I don't think it's that. And we had this amazing speech therapist that worked with us, and she had told me one day, she said, Whitney, this is more than a speech delay. I really encourage you to start looking into autism. You need to look into it. With an open mind, just look into it and see what you think. And I'm not a real closed-minded person. I feel like walking through Young Living and starting this whole natural journey, I had really become much more open-minded to what we did. And so I did. I pulled up signs and symptoms of autism, and I looked at it and checked every single box as I looked at our youngest son. And that was hard. And it was also a realization of, okay, we're starting this. This is probably where we're headed. But instead of waiting till we got the diagnosis, I started digging. I immediately started researching. And that is something that I also learned from Young Living. You guys, we have so much information at our fingertips that anything you want to learn more about, you can. You can find people to ask questions to. You can find experts in the field to learn from. The medical field is really changing. Has significantly changed over the last year, and they're starting to really look at gut health and biomedical treatments different than we ever have before, which is super exciting. 4 years ago, it wasn't so much, but now so much of this information is just right at your fingertips. And so that's exactly what I did. I jumped in and I started looking, and I found out that moms were recovering their kiddos. Y'all, I know this sounds crazy. And if you have a kiddo on the autism spectrum, every journey is different, and I have immense respect for that. Every kid is different. Everything they walk through is different. And this is not something that is a cookie cutter thing. This is not something that when people ask me, what things did you use for your kid with autism? I have a hard time telling you exactly what we did because I truly believe that every kid is different and unique, and you have to really take that in consideration. But I started researching and started diving in. We actually, quickly after that, met with a school psychologist because we were trying to get some resources for Eli. And she told me that I needed to go home and I needed to love my kid. That Eli probably had severe autism, that he probably would never speak again, that he probably would never have a job, he would never drive a car, he would never live outside of our house, that it would be unlikely for him to be successful in school, that you could never tell how smart he was because he can't talk. She told me that there was nothing I could do, that she didn't believe that these were the therapies he needed, but she did not believe that those were actually going to help him, and that I needed to face that, and I needed to get real with that. And that was really hard, and it was something that, no mom wants to hear spoken over their kid. And I talked to my husband that night, and he said, but you know what? We know different. We know there's hope because we have used things that are different. We have used things that are not mainstream. We have done the research. We have read about families who have recovered their kids. And there is hope in that. And we are going to hold on to that, and we are going to do everything we can. Sorry, I got a phone call. For our precious Eli. And so that's what we did. We started really researching, and I would show up at doctors' offices with massive amounts of research and be like, hey, will you do this with me? Can we go on this journey together? I need help. I need your wisdom. I need your guidance. And this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I'm finding. And so they jumped in with us. So Young Living played a big part in that, simply in opening our eyes that there is something different out there, that there is hope out there, that there are all natural alternatives that are extremely effective out there. It also made us really look at the products we were bringing into our home, that we were using on our family, and start looking more into the food we eat. So it played a huge, huge part in our journey. And I'm super excited. So April is Autism Awareness Month, and next week you guys are stuck with me. And throughout the whole week, I'm going to be sharing bits and pieces of our journey with you guys, because I feel like it is way too much to share in one Facebook Live. But it's information, that really truly can help anybody, even if they do not have autism. So if you don't have a loved one or somebody that you love with autism, I really encourage you to hop in next week and join us. Join me as I share, because we are going to be talking about sleep cycles. We're going to be talking about how to know what's going on with your kiddos if they wake out at certain times at night. Eli would always wake up between midnight and 3 a.m. and rock in his crib, and he used to have these open wounds along his spine from rocking so much. We're going to talk about gut health. We're going to talk about the lymphatic system. We're going to talk about essential oils for sensitive systems and dive into all of that next week. This week I kind of wanted to share with you what our journey has looked like. And so we started with this really bleak diagnosis, and we ended up that October getting a diagnosis of moderate to severe autism, and he was diagnosed with a low IQ because he could not answer any of the questions, and kind of moved on from there. Severe speech delay, nonverbal, all the things, sensory processing disorder, you know. If you've been on this journey, you know what that looks like. But by this point, Eli was actually significantly improved from where he was in April. We had started drastically changing out the products in our home. We switched over to all Young Living products because I knew I trusted the company. I knew what was in the products, and I was doing so much research to try to learn about gut health and microbiome and all these things, how your food impacts your body, inflammation and all of this stuff, that I didn't have the time to research companies and products. And I was so thankful for Young Living because we had been a part of this company for 2 years. I knew their seed to seal promise. I knew that the products were made with the best quality ingredients possible, and I knew switching out my things, everything in our home, from our cleaner to our dishwashing soap to getting rid of candles and our laundry detergent, was gonna impact our Eli. I had learned that his body just processed things a little bit different than ours, and he struggles with detoxing his system. So I knew it was super important that I was using really good quality products with great ingredients on him, so that his body wasn't storing up these toxins and it wasn't causing inflammation in his body. We did some lab work on Eli, and we found out that his all-over systemic inflammation was 70 times higher than normal. We had a doctor once tell us that the inflammation in Eli's body, he wouldn't even expect to see that in an elderly man who ate cheeseburgers daily, had heart disease, and smoked a pack a day. He said it was significantly higher than what he would even see in somebody with that lifestyle. And so we started working to heal his gut and to lower his inflammation. And we used so many essential oils just to support the body's normal inflammatory response. We had learned about Young Living's probiotic. We had started using digestive enzymes, which were not even on my radar at all when we started this journey, and just all the things that Young Living opened our eyes to. Another big piece of our story with Young Living is we had hit a point, this was during a time in our life where my husband had actually lost his job. He lost his job in January, and we found out Eli likely had autism that April. And it was just a hard time finding a career. We chose to make a big career move. And I had started in Young Living simply because I was curious about the products. I was not looking at the business at all. And because I had started working this as a business, it had replaced my income as an RN. I was currently staying at home with our kids. We had some income coming in. And over the years, my Young Living business has helped pay for all the therapy that Eli has needed. And it has been one of the biggest blessings we have ever had in our life. If you have a loved one on the spectrum, you know what those expenses look like. We that year sold a car to help pay for just the initial few months of Eli's therapy. We were a one-car family for over a year, and we did it to help pay for therapy that he needed. But over the years, we have been able to do all of that just because of Young Living, just because of this amazing, incredible business that we fell into and how it has blessed our life. So it has radically changed our son. So in the last 4 years, we have gone from our son being nonverbal, not making eye contact, stimming constantly to the point of having open weeping sores, to working on healing his gut, using essential oils to support his mood and his emotions, helping him sleep better, using digestive enzymes, being aware of the products that are in our home and how they impact his health and wellness. And now he is talking, singing. The kid taught himself how to read a couple years ago, and we didn't even know it because he couldn't tell us about the stories that he was reading. And so in the last year and a half, we have realized that Eli reads really well. Like, as he's sitting there reading encyclopedias and telling us all about it, and he taught himself that. He learned that completely on his own. The way that his brain works is absolutely amazing. He's an incredible, incredible kid who sings and talks and laughs and dances, and I have no doubt that he will get to live whatever future he wants to live. Whatever he decides to do with his life, I have no doubt that with more therapy and the more we pour into him, that he will be able to do those things. So, what are some of the things that we did? Well, next week I'm going to dive a lot into all of the details. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to check back next week, and each day I'm going to have a post sharing a little bit more about our story. Can you guys see the geese? They're having a good time back there. Sharing a little bit more about our story, and we are going to talk about, hey Nikki, we are going to talk about gut health. We are going to talk about sleep cycles. I have some really interesting things to share with you guys about sleep cycles next week. We are going to talk about digestive enzymes, essential oils for sensitive systems, how to support their bodies, and dive into more of that information. This is stuff, you guys, that can, if you have a kiddo who's on the spectrum, that can really radically change your life. But even if you don't, it's something that all of us need. We all need gut health support. We all need to support our emotions. But we have used things a little bit different with Eli. So some tips that I can share you guys. Today I really wanted to pop in and I wanted to share with you our story, how Young Living has impacted our story, and played a huge, huge part in that. And next week I'll be able to dive more into details. But if you have a kiddo that you love, or you personally have a kiddo who's on the spectrum, I do have a couple tips for you as you are getting started. So, low and slow. My number one tip is low and slow. Kiddos who have autism or who are anywhere on the spectrum are typically more sensory sensitive. Not typically, they are always more sensory sensitive than other kiddos. And that's something that we really have to be aware of, even with smell. So Eli has been I've been using essential oils on him since he was like 6 months old. So he is very much used to essential oils and using them. But as you're getting started with your kids, I would dilute more than what you normally would. And I always recommend like 1 drop of essential oil in a tablespoon of a carrier oil. And start using your oils on their feet, because we don't want this to be a negative experience for them. We want this to be something that really helps them, that supports their body, supports their emotions. And so starting low and slow is going to give you the best chance of success down the long run. I also always encourage people to support the gut. The gut is considered your secondary brain a lot of time. It's where most of our immune system lives, and they're starting to do a lot of more research through the gut-brain connection. And so I would really encourage you to look at the gut. Are you using a probiotic? Are you using a prebiotic? Are you using digestive enzymes? And how is that going for you? If you're not, I would really encourage you to look into that. Next week, we'll dive a little bit more into why those are necessary and the science behind it. But I really want to encourage you guys this week to look at that. And if you're not, look at some of Young Living's probiotics and digestive enzymes. They are awesome. They are ones that we have always used with great success and loved them. And then I would also just encourage you to look at any emotional support. So Eli does awesome in public situations until he doesn't. And so we have used a lot of essential oils like Valor to really help lessen any anxiety that he would be feeling going out in public spaces. We have used a lot of peace and calming to really help in those moments where we needed calm. And although our Eli has come so far in the last 4 years, we still have hard days. And I say that, and a lot of people aren't sure what that looks like. This week it looked like him hiding under our bar chairs and holding his ears because it was too loud. And so we used some peace and calming and frankincense and valor just to help him feel calm and grounded, and then we worked through that. And so I wouldn't say that there is just one that we have used, and seen huge successes with. But it's really looking at all of his needs individually and each one that can really help with that. We've used some to support his digestive system. We've used some to support his mood and his emotions, to help ease anxiety when we are going out, and all of these things to help them sleep better. Max? No? So I really encourage you guys to use your essential oils, start low and slow, and really look at gut health. I also meant to grab a book to show you guys. It is by Jody Meschek. Max. My dog is digging a hole. Okay, it's by Jody Meschek, and she has recovered her son from autism. I know there are lots of varied opinions on this, you guys, and I want you to know, first and foremost, that as mom to mom, I totally respect your opinions. I totally respect your journey, and there is never any judgment here, ever. All I want to do is share our story and what we have done, and I want you just to take it and make it your own and leave what you don't. Jody has written this incredible book, an incredible resource. I will link it in the comments below, but if you want a starting place, this is where you need to go. She covers so much of the things that we have even done in our own journey, and shares their journey with it, with incredible resources. So I will link that in the link below. If you're wanting to jump in this week and really get started, you can grab her book on Amazon. And she is actually a Young Living leader, and so you can also find her. I want to say her Facebook page is Speak Up Buttercup, and she is really about speaking out and supporting these kiddos, and that there is hope. So more than anything tonight, I want to hopefully get you excited for next week and what is to come, and I'm so excited to get to share more information about our journey and those in-depth little tidbits that I know you guys are wanting. But I also want you to know that there is hope. Warrior mamas that are out there, if you have a kiddo with autism, I want you to know that there is hope. There is hope when nobody thinks there is hope. That there is possibilities when people tell you there is not. And I don't care what anybody has told you. We can support our kiddos. We can support their systems. And by doing that, we can see incredible changes in them. Of course, we always love our kids the way they are. And I know with our Eli that I would accept his story no matter what. Whether we jumped in and we did all this and there were no changes, I know that God wrote his story. And I love his story no matter what. But what I have found is that even when people have spoken over us the worst case scenarios, the hardest things that you've ever heard, even when people have said he will never speak, he may never be able to go out on his own, he's never going to have any friends, he's never going to have a job, even when they have spoken things like that over us, I knew, because I had been involved in Young Living and just seen another way and started using these all-natural alternatives, I knew there were other options, and I knew there was hope. Now, whether your hope looks like mine, whether your journey looks like mine, or it's completely different, friend, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you know that there are options, that there are possibilities, even when it is impossible, and that there is hope. So, I just want to leave you guys with that tonight, and I'm so excited to pop in and share with you next week. I will link Jody's book in the comments below, and share more details from our story next week. So I hope you guys have an awesome evening. Thanks for joining me for the second Teaching Tuesday this week. We're so excited about this opportunity to start hopping on Tuesdays and just pouring into you guys and sharing some of our stories and things that have really impacted us and subjects that we have loved learning about over the years. You guys have an incredible group of leaders here with Heather and Nikki and Casey. Some incredible oily knowledge, and I'm just so thankful that I get to be a part of this incredible team, and I'm so thankful for all that these amazing leaders have to pour into you guys. So if you guys ever have any questions, whether you are on my team or cross-line or whatever, please feel free to reach out at any point in time. I'd love to share more of our story with you and to help you brainstorm if that's what you need. Next week we will dive into all the details, so I will talk to you guys next week. Bye!